first quarter. Blazers trail 3-0, 3rd and 9. This will be a long field goal. Anderson goes in motion. Caden with the snap, looking all kinds of time, throws downfield, down the middle of the field. Touchdown, Valdosta State. The catch was made down there by Chris Anderson, the smallest guy on the field.
The David Dean Show, your weekly look at Valdosta State University Blazer football, is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau.
Hello and welcome to the David Dean Show. I'm Dick Rocky with the head coach. The Blazers fall to the University of North Alabama 57-7 on a Saturday night. And Coach, it was a game I asked you when I first got here. I've never seen one where 3 or 4 tip passes, penalties. I mean, just everything went wrong for the Blazers Saturday night.
Well, it did. You know, unfortunately, we were due for one of those games, and it showed up yesterday. And you know, it was an embarrassment. Obviously, you know, we're sorry for all the fans that were there and all the fans that cheer us on to play so poorly, especially in front of a home crowd. But it was one of those nights that all the breaks went North Alabama's way, and we got absolutely no breaks in that game at all. Well,
it's just, like I say, we saw things we've just never seen. And North Alabama, give them credit, they're a great football team. They played well, and they took advantage of every mistake.
Well, they did. You know, and they're playing their best football of the season right now, and we talked about that last week going into this game, that they were playing their best football. But they didn't. They made no mistakes. They played very, very well. And, you know, typical example is early in the game, we stripped the ball from them, make a great play, and they end up getting 15 extra yards because they recovered the ball. It goes down the field. You know, it was one of those days.
But your defense early on, those first couple of series, you know, they gave up the 1 touchdown, but they made some stops that could have put more points on the board for them too.
Well, they did. They played excellent. You know, we shut their run down. You know, obviously we struggled with the pass once again, and we're letting too many big plays happen in the pass game. But you know, we were in the ball game until we fumbled that ball there early in the 3rd quarter, and they returned it for a touchdown.
All right, we'll take a break and be back and take a look at the first half.
Chris Caspari, free safety, Lawrenceville, Georgia. You're watching the David Dean Show. Go Blazers.
Welcome back to the David Dean Show. Coach, going into the game against North Alabama, it was a big game for both of you, because I think you may have felt whoever lost that game got that second loss in the conference and in the region. You're in that position we've been in before. You got to start next week and get them on.
Well, we actually start our playoff season this week against Delta State is the way we've got to go in and approach it. It is tough having 2 losses, but we still have that opportunity to make the playoffs. We got to have some help, but we control our own destiny. If we can win 3 straight games, we put ourselves in a position that we can probably get back into the playoffs, and hopefully that's what we're going to do.
Let's watch the first half.
About typical here, our fans that run out in front of us, they all trip on each other, and that was kind of typical for the Blazers on the day. They had a good start to the game. Jake Walker makes a nice kick, puts it right in the corner and kicks it out of the end zone there. And we have a touchback to start the ball game. Did a good job of shutting these guys down on the run game early. They're a very good running football team, and we shut them down. Thought we ran the ball. We moved the ball very well early in the game, and really we moved the ball well the entire game. I don't think I've ever been associated with a game that we had over 400 yards of offense and only ended up with 7 points. But making some nice throws and plays here early. We ended up having to punt. They come back and hit us with a little flea flicker here, and make a nice execution on that. This was really big, I thought, in the game. We hold them down here, their 1st and goal at the 5. And we hold them 3 straight snaps outside the end zone and force them to a field goal, and only give up 3 after the big play, which I thought was huge. And then we come back and respond. Nice catch there by Reginald Lewis. You know, our run game was a little bit off. We had a lot of high snaps in the game, and as you see, you'll see Caden continue to jump up and down for balls. And you know, here's just a great play by their linebacker. He makes a tip on the ball and it tips right to them. They end up with the interception, and then our defense did another outstanding job here after the turnover of getting a great sack right there with Tevin Davis makes the sack here. And good throw right there to Willie Downs on third down to move the chains. Great protection here. This is one of the best defensive lines that we've faced all year long. They gave Caden great protection. He throws the ball there to Chris Anderson for the touchdown. We kick the ball out of bounds and give them good field position. They start up on the 35-yard line, and you just can't give good football teams good field position. That was a fourth down play. We had him stopped. He spins out, ends up getting the first down, and then he makes a nice throw there on the next play to put them up 9-7. They missed the extra point. We did a great job of rushing there, and we end up throwing the ball here to Shontavious Jones, gets a first down again, and good running there by Austin Scott. Our offensive line was blocking very well. Good throw there to Willie Downs, getting us another first down. Here's another third down conversion for us right here. We get Chris Anderson making the catch off the bubble screen. And again, right there, we're close to breaking this one. Good run there by Austin, and this is just a mistake here by Caden. He throws the ball off his back foot. He's trying to throw the ball away, and he just doesn't get enough on it, and it stays in bounds, and they intercept it in there. And, you know, if we just throw that ball away, we have an opportunity to kick a field goal and go up 10-9. And they do a good job there of responding off of that. They run the quarterback sweeps play that they've been running very well all year long, and they end up scoring. We have a penalty after that. We have a late hit there in the end zone, so they kick the ball out of the end zone. We start deep in our territory. Great run there by Cedric. He just steps out of bounds. And then good read here by Caden. Gets us about 5 yards there off the zone read. And just poor protection. Very poor protection. We let a guy slip right through us. They blocked the field goal. And now they've got good field position right there off of that. And here's a play that we make right here before the half. This would be a really big momentum changer for us. And unfortunately, we have probably as bad a break as you can get right here on this play. On a third down play, we're throwing the ball across the middle, and our receiver gets cut there, and the ball tips up for the interception. They actually throw the flag, and then the same guy who threw the flag waved it off and said, "I anticipated pass interference," and then he called it off. So I've never heard of that happening before, but they did it. And, you know, they get down in field goal range here right before the half and kick the field goal, and so now we go down 19-7. And, you know, we were sitting in a position where we could have cut into the lead a little bit and been a little bit more secure going into the half, but we don't. We go down 12.
We'll go down 12. We've been there before, or the Blazers have been there before, but, you know, the second half has been the Blazer half, except for yesterday again. Yeah,
it was, and our kids, I thought, responded very well coming out of the locker room, and we put together a tremendous drive, and unfortunately we fumbled on that drive, which is the one they picked up and returned for a touchdown, and boy, it just started snowballing from there.
All right, we'll take a break and be back with the second half.
The David Dean Show is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau and also by Mediacom, First State Bank and Trust, Blanton and Griffin, Anheuser-Busch, Holiday Inn, Prince Automotive, and U.S. Education TV.
Welcome back to the David Dean Show. Coach, 12-point deficit going into the second half, and in the locker room, you know, we're always looking for that big speech from the head coach, but you're only down 12. There were some mistakes made. Your players know. What was your feeling coming out of there with the team?
Well, we just talked again, Caden, the same week, same thing we did last week. Just talked about execution, finishing off drives, making plays, eliminating mistakes. You know, we'd hurt ourselves a couple of times with some penalties here and there, and we just talked about, you know, start making some breaks that go our way, and unfortunately we didn't do that. You know, all the breaks started going to North Alabama, but, you know, again, I thought our kids came out of the locker room ready to play in the third quarter, and you can see that we took the opening drive and moved it all the way down to about the 25 until we had the fumble.
All right, let's watch the second half. Coach, I've never seen so many tip passes, and actually we had a lot of drops last night.
Yeah, we had way too many drops, and that ended up being the difference in the game. Their wide receivers made a lot of plays, and ours didn't. And, you know, we're not going to be successful as much as we throw the football if we can't catch the football and make plays, especially on third down. And we've just got to do a better job of that. We're losing one block every time on our kickoff return. If we can stay on those blocks, we've got a chance to crease them and get big plays. Again, you see we got a nice drive coming out here to start the half. We're running the football very well. You can see how well Cedric O'Neill's running the football, doing a great job of carrying that thing around. And then right here we get a third down play and we throw the ball out to Chris, and he's just trying to make a play, and right there they strip it out and it bounces right to their guy. They've got a convoy set up for him right there. And, that was kind of a heartbreaking play for us from what ended up happening at the end of the half with the pass interference, and then they get the field goal to go up 12, and now all of a sudden we're down by 19. But you can see our kids kept fighting. We just ended up being a yard short right there on the throw. He had to step up in the pocket, and we lost. And right here's the break that we needed. We had an opportunity. They made a mistake, one of the few mistakes they made in the game, and we got to capitalize on it right here. We get down, and right here we drop a ball, and it goes right to them again. And that's one of those things that we've got to convert on those. We've got to make those plays, and unfortunately they get a great return out of it. They get great field position, and they make some things happen here. Again, great play. They hit us with a pass there on third down to get down into the 15-yard line, shutting down the run here. Again, we force them to the field goal, and they hit it again, and now we're crawling deeper in the hole. Great play here to Reginald Lewis. There's one of those that's just unfortunate. He ends up running out of bounds instead of down the field. He loses kind of his sight of where he is. And we make a big play, change the field position at least, but we don't get anything out of it. And then right here, they break loose on the long run, and he makes a nice stiff arm and gets it into the end zone. And at this point right now, we've got to have something positive happen for us. We've got to make something happen, and here's a good play there to Roshmel Young. Makes a great throw by Caden, gets us down the field. And then we come right back on third down and drop another ball. That was fourth down. So they get the ball back, and then they hit us with a pump fake, throw the ball down, again, get great field position. And then right here, they make another nice stop here on the run game to pin them down in here, and they get, again, another nice run right there. We've got him contained in the backfield and just lose him, and they get in, and now it's a deficit that we're going to have a very hard time overcoming. We come out, we end up going 3 and out there, and we don't get a very good punt. We only get about a 27-yard punt there and give them good field position. And then they put together a nice drive again, moving the ball down the field. And you see right here, we do a good job again stopping them. They hit us with another pass. And then their quarterback again right here off the read play just spins out of it and gets into the end zone. And right now we're playing for pride. We challenged our guys to go out and continue to play hard, and that's what they did. They went back out and they were still playing. But unfortunately here, in the fourth quarter, we put in a lot of backups there on our defensive side, and they can only travel 60, so they're still playing a lot of starters, so they were moving the ball down the field very well on our backup guys. There's another fumble. Eric Scott goes in there, and unfortunately he loses the ball there on the first down, and we give them, again, great field position after a good stop that our defense makes, and then just a great run here by their running back. He's had a great year this year and put up a lot of yards. I thought we had a guy right here that's a 6th-year senior, Trent McGuire, that comes in and does a great job. Here's a throw to a true freshman there. Corey Schaefer makes his first catch there for us. Again, good running there by Trent McGuire, and we're just trying to run the clock out. A lot of fight left in us at the end of the game. I was proud to see that. We were able to move the ball down the field. Again, I thought we did a great job of moving the ball the entire game, but just drops and turnovers just killed us.
You're dealing with college students, teenagers, the psyche of a team. That's a word I don't ever use, but Is it something that you're going to have to work on this week, or do you think your guys, it's another one's in the past, we just got to get Delta State?
Well, you want to put it behind you, and start looking ahead to our final 3 games of the year to put us in a position to hopefully make the playoffs. But, when you're dealing with that in situations, you saw what happened at the end of the half, everything that could possibly go good for us with the block kick put us in field position, and then we get the non-call, and then right after that, the fumble. Our kids just lost a lot of focus at that point. They became very, very frustrated, and it's been a culmination of things over about 3 or 4 weeks that they've become frustrated with.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. I was just wondering if it's something you were concerned about going into the game. Did you not anticipate maybe a game like this, but where it just sort of falls apart on you?
Well, yeah, you always worry about that, but you never think it's going to happen. But it did, and like I said, this happens to good football teams. You look at Clemson when they played Florida State, it happened to them. They responded this past week and played very well. That's exactly what we got to do against Delta.
All right, Coach, we'll be back with the Drury Inn and Suite scoreboard in just a moment.
I'm Chris Pope. I play linebacker from Jackson, Georgia, and you're watching the David Dean Show.
Welcome back to the Drury Inn and Suite scoreboard, and Coach, we'll rush through some scores here. Tuskegee 36-7 over Kentucky State. They're in the SIAC. They're the only team, unless they fall apart, they're already in the playoffs. Yeah,
they're probably going to win that league over there, and they're going to be in the playoffs for sure.
Lenore-Ryan 27-20 over Mars Hill.
Yeah, Lenore-Ryan's another one that's probably going to end up being in there with them. Carson-Newman, Newberry, somebody in that SAC. 2 of those guys are probably going to make the playoffs.
Wingate wins 41-33 over Tusculum. They're playing good.
Yeah, they are. They're playing good. There's a lot of the SAC teams, like last year, they were all beating each other up, and now they're all kind of separating themselves this year.
And we got Carson-Newman continues to win. They only have one loss, 47-26 over North Greenville.
Yeah, they're a good football team, and like I said, it's Lenore-Ryan, Carson-Newman, Newberry. 2 of those guys are going to end up making it.
Don't have to talk on Delta State. We'll talk about that 38-17 over Shorter. Then West Alabama, a pretty easy win, 42-14 over West Georgia.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think West Georgia put a lot of emphasis in our game last week, and that was a heartbreaking loss for them to have to go on the road and respond that way. It was going to be very difficult. Be interesting to see how North Alabama does against West Alabama this week.
And I just mentioned the last score, UNC Penbroke. I know they won. They lost their first loss of the year. We see them at the end of the season, so that was their first loss in the region too.
And that was to Newberry,
yeah.
Who we talked about's got an opportunity to make it.
All right, we'll be back with the Georgia Farm Bureau look ahead in just a minute.
The David Dean Show is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau and also by Colony Bank, the Houston Clinic, Sunset Farm Foods, Drury Inn and Suites, the Georgia Lottery, and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Welcome back to the Georgia Farm Bureau look ahead. And Coach, got a long trip for you this week, Delta State. You guys are bussing over.
Yeah, we are. We're going to leave Thursday afternoon and drive into Birmingham and spend the night, then get up Friday and drive the rest of the way. It's a long trip. It's our longest trip of the year, and it's one that is not very good timing for us. This is one where we needed to play at home or have a short trip, but I think our kids are going to regroup. I think they're going to come back out with a little fire about them, hopefully, and we're going to play a lot better than we did this past Saturday. So
you're going to go from facing a team who likes to run the ball, who Delta State apparently throws it all over the field.
They do. They throw it all over the lot, and that's scary for us because we haven't defended the pass very well this year. And we got to do a good job of defending that pass if we want to stay in this ball game. Has
it been more the deep passes have hurt than you seem to be pretty good on the short stuff, giving it a little yardage, but those deep passes have hurt us?
It's the play action passes. I think we're just putting our eyes in the backfield and seeing what's happening and losing sight of the receivers sometime. And then also there have been some very good throws. We've been in position to make plays, but the ball is just put in perfect position, and that's a credit to the quarterbacks and receivers that we're facing.
I think sometimes the fans average, they see the long passes and they're immediately it's the fault of the guy there, but there's more to it than that. You miss the great throws, and I asked one of you guys one time just a couple weeks ago, when you're back there running around and nothing's happening, do you take a peek? And he said, yeah, we're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that happens a lot, but a lot of times deep balls are hit on safeties, but a lot of times it's the corner's fault because he doesn't get a jam on the receiver to allow the safety to get up over the top, and it all goes, all 11 guys got to do their job. We got to have good pass rush and put pressure on the quarterback.
Coach, I know a tough loss for everybody that was there, and the players and the coaches especially, and I know it's going to be probably a good week, hard week of practice and getting things tried to straight out going into this Delta game, because we're in that mode we've been for many times, a must-win situation starting Saturday night. We are, and our seniors got to take over this team, our leaders got to take over this team, and be interesting to see how we respond. We got to get a little bit of confidence back. We got to go back out and play hard and treat this like a playoff. So it's a 3-game playoff now. All right, Coach. Thanks a lot. Valdosta State with the loss over the weekend against North Alabama, and we'll be playing at Delta State over in Cleveland, Mississippi. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. No TV, but you can listen to the game on the Blazers Radio Network or go to vstateblazers.com and pick it up on there. I think it says listen live. So for the head coach, David Dean, I'm Dick Rocky. Hope you have a wonderful week.